Okay, so hi, I'm McKenna. This will probably not be the best video, but I will try my best. I will zoom out now. Oh, gods. Zoom back in, actually. I'll try to do everything one-handed so I can hold the camera. That shouldn't be that hard. I have my pre-set up things here. So basically what this is going to be is what's called a housewife. It's just an old 18th century, early 19th century style of a mobile sewing kit. There's big pocket, little dingly thing tied together. You know how it be. You know how it be. You know how it be. Anyways, that's not important. What is important is that I'm gonna be using me sewing this pocket onto here to demonstrate how to use this good old Singer model, whatever the fuck, that. I knew the model number at one point. I don't anymore. That's not important. So, as all good things should start, let's go through everything but the mechanical components. Now, I will say there is stuff underneath that is too heavy for me to show. All that's important down there for you to know is that there is on this particular model, there is a switch down there that you have to manually do with a screwdriver to switch to embroidery mode. I haven't figured out embroidery mode myself, so it doesn't really matter. Now, additionally, ooh, shit, you're spilling. Additionally, let's start off with just maintenance basics, which is mostly that the biggest maintenance thing is that you're going to want some kind of oil, and you can look up the specific numbers, but and it's also going to vary by machine, obviously. On mine, I'm pretty sure it's like every 8 hours worth of sewing, I think it is. I might be wrong. I just do it whenever I feel like I haven't done it in a long enough time. On my machine, there's these little holes all throughout the thing for you to place oil into. Again, that will vary. And how do you know what to do with that specific thing? You're going to want to check your manual. Mine's falling apart because it's like 70 years old. But, if you know your model number, you can almost definitely find that online, obviously. Now, to go through the stuff that will actually change, and I'm going to take this out so that we can do demonstrations later. So, where to begin? I guess with the power cord. Mine attaches back here. And then, this is the foot pedal. You press this down, this little button right there. On some there will be a bigger button, but it's almost always a foot pedal. You press down on it, the needle go. You know how it be. I'm sure you've seen the movies. From there, we go into the actual sewing mechanics. So let me put you down for a second. So right here is the needle. Can I focus? Yeah. This is the needle, obviously, and this is what's called the foot. Down in here, and your manual will give specific instructions, but I'm pretty sure this part kind of normally remains the same. So, is where the bobbin is stored. Bobbin goes in this little thingy right here. It has this little lever This doesn't do much as far as a mortar, except like help you hold on to it while you're putting it back in. So you to thread to get this into here, you place it here, and then you bring the thread up through this little crack right here. Let me see if I can actually do this one-handed. Bring it up through here. And then you want it to end up right here by basically wrapping it around this. Here, let me... Like I said, not the most well put together, but we ballin'. You know, we ballin'. And this actually lets me show you better. Okay, so we have this thing right here, and this is what's called the bobbin. I don't know what this has a specific name, but this is not a disposable piece of equipment. This will just comes with the machine. I'm sure you can get replacements, but the bobbins are much more replaceable. You can buy them at Michael's and shit. I'll show you later how to wind these, but that will, on my machine, that will also vary by machine, I'm sure. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna place this in here, right? You're gonna take this thread and you're gonna line it through this little crack right here, up and around, and you see that? So now it's right here. Now it's right there. And then to get that back in, grab onto the little handhold thing. You're just gonna wanna... Yeah, let me turn off that light. You just kind of slide it in there until it fits, and as you can see right there, there's a little guide thing. This little thing right here guides it into there, so you know that you've placed it right. And when you do place it right, it should just kind of slide in. Now, moving on to the needle. This is the part that will probably vary the most. This is one of two things that will vary the most on your machine. Mine is a little light, most will. I don't know why I mentioned that. But on my machine, you have the thread up here. Little, I forget what these are called. I don't think it's a bobbin though. Mine just kind of wraps all the way around here. It will go down around this thing, and this controls tension. I'm gonna be honest, never figured out how this works, never figured out why I would need to change it. I'm sure there is, I'm sure I could ask around, but regardless, I'm gonna wrap it around there. It goes back up through this little arm, and it's important that it goes through all these little places, and there is thankfully little diagrams showing everything basically. Yeah, here. There's a little diagram showing where you're supposed to wind it around. So and because that's probably going to change from machine to machine, I'm not going to focus on that too much. Aside from the fact that you're going to want to get, if I can, this is exhilarating stuff, isn't it? You're going to want to go from right to left with that. At least on this model, but I'm pretty sure it's the same on all models. And while we are on the needle, also, you know, push it back. While we are on the needle, yeah, my thing is very messy. You can get replacement needles, and I'm only going to show one of these, so I'm not Fuck it. I'll go digging through for the rest. So, they make different kinds of needles. How do you know what you use? Well, normally they'll have like some kind of phrase like chains and denim, universal. And also, if I can get you open, where's my little stand? There we go. Will you come open for me? There we go, we got one open. You're probably not going to be able to see this. So I'll just kind of point to it. On the, so on the needle, there's going to be a flat side. There we go, I'm in focus now. There's going to be a flat side and a round side. Sorry about that, my roommate asked me to move the car. So basically, on this little rounded part of the needle, is it on the rounded part? I'm checking off screen to see. Apparently not. Well, okay. Does it 70? Oh, that's weird. Anyway. So, based off of... So, on these little rounded parts of the needle, it will give you two numbers, or in this case, for some reason, this one only says as 1, that correspond to a type of needle. And you can look up this more online. I'm pretty sure the one that's in there right now is a 9014. And in this case, this pack of needles that I have is a bunch of universal ones. They also make jean and denim needles. And the difference is these ones are a lot thicker. I don't know if you can tell on the camera. But yeah, these ones are thicker than these ones. They also make, I think these ones might be for thinner material. I can't tell right now. I'm sure there's guides online that are more specific than me. However, all you need to know is that there are different kinds of needles, for different kinds of fabrics. These thicker ones, which are normally the ones that I'm using, right here. These thicker ones are better for like denim and canvas, which is the materials that I end up using the most. And then there's also there's also universal needles, which are fine for whatever, I guess. And then I know there's round tip ones. I don't remember exactly what they're called. However, those ones are good for very light fabrics like silk and rayon and whatnot. So, what needle you need will vary and is important to know. And you can easily check online to see what kind of needle you need. Pretty sure at least partially corresponds to the I should have done this beforehand before I strung the needle, but we're gonna figure it out regardless. So this one that I have in it says, I believe that's a 7010, but I might be wrong. You can look at the side of my machine while I am reading this. God. Sorry for the lighting, by the way. My landlord's kind of a piece of shit. Not completely, just kind of. Yeah, no, I don't have enough light to read that. So, yay. I'm such a great teacher, but I know, I'm amazing. So, that's how you know what kind of needle you need, more or less. Sorry, it's gonna be black for a second. Yeah, that worked. So, okay, well, you have your needle now. How do you know how to put it in? Well, that's where we get back into that flat side versus that rounded side. And this is another thing that you kind of can tell by the machine and how it feels. There's this little screw right here. Turn that, needle comes out. You can also just slide it right in there. Then you tighten it. You kind of just gotta slide it up in there until you can't feel it anymore. And everything's really oily right now, so my fingers are being a bitch. So flat side to the left, and then round side to the right. Round right. So let's go with that. That makes sense. Does that make sense? Just to recover, this little screw right here, you unscrew it, the needle falls out. To put the needle, and once you have whatever needle you need to replace it, you're going